Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to say that I have been noticing that there are more people that are watching the show, which I absolutely love. But I also see from the YouTube analytics that these are new people and they haven't subscribed. So if you are new to the show and you're watching the show and you enjoy it, please hit the subscription and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you really like the show, it would be awesome and greatly appreciated if you shared it with some friends. And this is how we get the stagecoach across America. Also, before we start today's show, I want to send a special shout out to John Petrolino, author of Decoding Firearms. He's known as the Pen Patriot, and he is a writer at Bearing Arms, at AmmoLand, at JM4 Tactical, and at Armed Lifestyle magazine. John is letting me use his stagecoach here while we are doing a Southern California tour. So special thanks to John. You should check him out. He was episode 93 of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. We interviewed him in New Jersey. So thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you soon. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I said it right.
It's a weird name, I know.
It is. I wasn't sure. I'm glad that the spell check came up with it.
Native American, it means Sandy City or something like that.
Sandy
Sandy Hills or
Sandy Hills,
like
okay. Well, I am at the Nexbelt home office with Nathan Halliwill. Nathan, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, good to be here.
It's good to be here. Now, you're not necessarily from this area.
No.
So you don't know where we're going either. I love it.
So, I work here in Rancho, but I don't live here, so I do make a commute. But I'm not a city kid at all, so I don't venture out too far.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And if I do, it's to take advantage of God's creation outdoors and stuff. So I'm not one to go to bars or anything.
That's all right. You're probably a better person for it. I may have spent my time doing that when I was young, and I don't want to say it made me what I am today, but it certainly explains a lot.
Well, there you go.
This is beautiful out here. I've never been to Southern California. This is my first time, and I'm knocking out a number of shows while I'm out here. And the hills are pretty amazing. Are they big enough to be mountains? I don't even know.
Oh yeah, these are mountains, but as far as California mountains go, and especially mountains across the United States, these are pretty small. Probably about 6,000 elevation.
6,000 feet,
sure.
right? Yeah, that's what someone else was telling me too.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. Coming from the East Coast, everything we have is most of the stuff we have is covered with trees.
Yeah, trees and flat.
Yes, and it's flatter. Well, not flat, but flatter. I grew up in the Midwest, and the Midwest is flat. Flat. I remember when I was a kid, I used to drive on Interstate 57. I grew up an hour south of Chicago, and I would get on Interstate 57, and I would look to my right, and I'm like, if you go that way, you run into New York City, and if you go the other way, you run into Los Angeles. And that's all I really knew about geography when I was young.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need.
Right, and I tell people I ended up in Boston because there was an ocean and I couldn't get further away. Yeah. So,
well, I was actually in Georgia for the Blade Show 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. It was gorgeous, and coming back here, everything looks brown in comparison because gorgeous Georgia is green as can be. But while there, we were talking about this. We were talking about how flat in comparison it is, and one of the guys says, "Oh well, we have a mountain over here. It's like 125 feet." I said, that's not quite a mountain.
Right, that's a hill, dude.
Yeah, but California, the weather is so different from everywhere else. The geography is so different. You can, from here, you go an hour that way, you are at the beach, and then you go an hour that way, you're in the forest, and then an hour that way, you're in the desert. So
that's pretty wild.
You can go and visit the Joshua Tree National Forest, and then go up to Big Bear and put a hammock up and sit underneath the pine trees. So that's really cool. Geography is tight. The mountains kind of force cities to be a little bit more farther away from each other, but in between is that gorgeous land that you can really take advantage of. I love it.
That is cool. That is very cool. All right, I am glad that we finally got to make this happen. I met you at the SHOT Show this year. I went up to Nexbelt. I've been involved with some concealed carry fashion shows around the country with Amanda Suffolk.
Yeah, I was going to mention her too.
Yeah, well, she's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, she's great.
And I didn't really get what they were, the ratchet belts. And I got one that wasn't a Nexbelt and it wasn't a gun belt. And a couple years ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buck up and I'm going to buy one. And I absolutely love it. So,
well, ratchet technology in general is just taking the markets by storm. We started, Nexbelt started about almost 12 years ago. With that being said, we've engineered and changed up the diagram of how ratchet technology. We've started with our original belt. If you were to see that one now, it looks drastically different from how we create the ratchet technology, how we create the buckles.
Yeah.
Everything has been modified and changed and upgraded over the years. So,
cool.
Ratchet technology is becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about you. How did you? You were one of the. What'd you say? The sales.
I was one of the gun guys over there selling and showing the belts, describing how they work.
Gotcha. Now, how did you? What did you grow up? Did you grow up hunting and shooting? Were you a gun guy when you were young?
Yeah. So, we're in Southern California now, but I actually grew up. Me and my brother, who both work at the company, grew up in a small town in Central California. It's called Lake Isabella, California, and I think it has probably about 3,000 max people living in that town. But that being said, there's a lot of area around there that we took advantage of. We went hunting and shooting and camping all the time. And because it does have a river there and also a lake, we got to experience that as well. So very much the outdoors type people. And I was working for a long time in the food service industry, working at one restaurant in particular. I was a sous chef there, going to culinary arts school, and I told myself, you know what, when you graduate, you're going to go to the best restaurants no matter where it is and move there and take a job and learn. Yeah. I wanted to learn, and I decided to do that, and things changed around, and I called my brother up one day and said, hey, you got a spot? And he said, yeah. I said, I'll be there Monday. So I moved down here, worked down here for a while, and then COVID actually made me move careers, and I was having a hard time working 3 days a week. So called up my brother and Nexbelt and interviewed, enjoyed the interview, started working there as a warranty guy for a year. Now I'm in sales, but now I'm kind of working in this industry where I really enjoy the company, but I also enjoy the product and use and abuse the product quite often. So if you like the product that you're selling, it makes it much easier and enjoyable.
So what was, I always find this kind of interesting because I'm working on two careers. I have a day job being a teacher, and then I get to go out and do this. Going from being a sous chef to selling belts is kind of a change.
Very drastic, and to be honest, being so passionate as I was with food, it was a little bit difficult. It was a struggle moving from those two careers because I went from being worked hard hours, doing something that had so much passion in it, to sitting at a desk. For a little bit, I was a little lost there, and so
sure.
Finding the capability of changing, humbling myself in that, and actually finding enjoyment at something so different has, not only grown me, but grown my appreciation for the job. So,
is it easy to trust a thin guy like yourself that's a chef?
I started out in the pastry department at a pretty nice country club, and the first thing that the head chef came in and said to me was like, "Oh, you're too skinny. You're too skinny. You need to eat some more donuts." And
oh my gosh.
Yes, you can, because I eat a lot of what I make. And,
sure.
Sometimes too much.
Okay. I don't think so. But that's all right. That's cool. Excuse me. So you started off doing warranty stuff. When people call in with a warranty issue on a Nexbelt, what kind of a thing is it?
Yeah.
What kind of an issue do they have?
Yeah. So I'll tell you right now. Just for example, up until this last week, we had one guy in the entire company doing warranty.
Really?
So that just shows how little we get as active. And actually, he left the company this last week to change careers. We love him, and we're kind of actually excited for him. But so that being said, technically right now we don't have any warranty people, but we're taking that up. To answer your question more thoroughly, I mean, somebody calls in, it could be anything from they're using and abusing the product as we love, and maybe they break something on it. Let's say somebody does break something on it. If we can fix it, we will. So you can send in that buckle. We'll fix it and send it back for free. So one of the things that we see most often is, I would probably say, people are using it quite often with metal clips on the holster, and it's rubbing on the fabric, which is to be expected on any belt. It's rubbing on the fabric, might lose some threads. From there, if you're really using it in hardcore, like wearing every single day, and you have a heavy product on there, and you're sitting in a certain way. I only see it very rarely, but like usually bigger guys or people who are bending down, sitting and putting stretch on the back. If they're bigger guys, I usually see like a small crack in our liner, which doesn't hurt any of the capability of holding weight. We've tested everything out, exceptional strength on the belts, and if you're in warranty, if that's a warranty, we take care of you. We love working with our customers, and we never have issue with that.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I love that it's I've had mine for over 2 years, and it doesn't show any wear or tear. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't carry inside the waistband, but I got it because I was doing a class, and the guy says you got to get a good belt, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buck up. I'm gonna get a good belt.
Yeah, I get a lot of people come up at shows, especially, and they get excited when they see Nexbelt, and they come over and they start lifting their shirt, and they're like, "Let me show you my belt." Sometimes you have to say, "Well, lower your shirt a little bit." You're giving it. You're giving a.
There's some things we don't want to say.
Yeah, but and a lot of the dudes that do that are happy, and they're saying, "Dude, I've had this belt for 3+ years or whatever," and they're still wearing it. Some of them do look like they've been put through the ringer, but what I see most of all is people using their belts for quite a while, using it, loving it, and then they purchase another one. If they do have a warranty issue, which is, like I said, is pretty rare, they're able to handle that, and that's what people are enjoying about the product, is it doesn't show that much wear. A leather belt, you might get some scratches on it. We have on our leather belts, we're using a pressed leather so that it has a nice gloss over the outside. It doesn't take scratches, doesn't take wear that well. We've done a lot of testing to try and minimize as much wear and tear on our product as possible.
That's cool. I was wondering how you kept that from happening, because wear the belt, and it's it's going to get worn, it's going to get scratched, and nothing.
Yeah. So when you do carry, you carry outside the waistband, or when you train?
So yeah, I do. I've got so I'm one of those guys. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm one of those guys. I carry on my ankle because it's easy on, easy off. All right, we can go up here, can't we? Oh, that road's closed for danger. These cars are coming here. We're going up here. We'll come out and we'll go get a picture by these mountains.
Yeah, for sure.
I carry on my ankle because it's convenient because where I work I can't carry.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I made the decision to carry every day, so I ended up going with an ankle holster. When I do go with the when I do take courses, obviously I carry outside the waistband. And all right, no stopping any time. Guess what we're gonna do?
We're gonna stop.
We're gonna stop. All right, let's get out and take a selfie.
Just like California, nobody follows the rules.
Right. Signs mean nothing. I got a picture from Disneyland where there's a sign that says no stroller parking, and there's like six strollers there. Yeah. So it's not, signs mean nothing. All right, we'll be back. Yeah. All right, so we just went and got some selfies by the mountains. This is really cool.
Yeah. Very accessible too.
Yeah. So I carry on the ankle, but when I take courses, I use an outside the waistband holster. Kydex holster, and I usually when I do courses, I use my Glock 19.
Yeah. I'm actually on Sunday. I'm going to go shooting with a whole bunch of guys. We're going to drive out to the desert and just take our pistols and do a lot of course action and create our own courses and just shoot and have fun. And I always try and take what I'm going to carry on a day-to-day. So inside the waistband, usually it's appendix carry. But I also, will train with outside the waistband. And especially with our new belts that were coming out, like the NTAC 45, and also we're doing like a range kit. I might be testing that out there as well.
Oh, cool.
And with the belt that I'm wearing, which is just a Titan, it's pretty comparable to what you usually wear. I've put on tons of weight, ridiculous amount of weight on those, and have been able to run and gun with the rest of them. And
cool.
That's one of the reasons why I like wearing Nexbelt, is because of the diversity, the availability to use it in different ways. And it makes it a lot easier to carry day to day. But if you are doing something a little bit more special, hunting or hiking and stuff, it's comfortable. It's easy to use.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, a couple of things. One, you can just go to this boggles my mind. You can just go to the desert and shoot.
Yeah. And this is something that I've learned going to other states, is BLM land in California means something a little bit different than other states. Talking to somebody else, they were telling me BLM land in, I think it was Colorado.
All right, BLM.
Bureau of Land Management.
Okay.
It's basically open land for the use of public. Okay. But it's managed by the government.
Gotcha. Okay. Like I think we call them wildlife refugees.
Yes,
same sort of a thing.
Refugees have much more animals, much more federal, a lot of restrictions on it. BLM is literally just open land for open use, and so as long as you're not degrading the land, usually, especially in California, you're able to use. And as long as it's not next to houses and stuff, you can use as well. So a lot of California's land, especially in the desert, is BLM because nobody wants to live out there. So it's Bureau of Land Management. And you can go out there, and as long as the statutes allow, you can use it how you need. So you'll go out there and you'll see, even into the forest, a lot of it's BLM.
This guy letting me go. That's pretty wild. That boggles my mind. In Massachusetts, there are a handful of public ranges. Most of them are private sportsmen's clubs. Okay. Or a private range that you have to belong to. There are a few that you can go and rent time and rent guns from. When I talk to some people and they talk about renting, they're like, oh, we go to the range, then we went to this range, we went to that range, another time we went to this range. I'm like, how do you guys pull that off? Like, that means that means you got to spend a couple $100 at each of the range to be a member there. And they're like, no, we just go in, we rent an hour, rent an hour or two, and head out.
I think 35 minutes away from here, my brother is a trainer, pistol, CCW trainer, all that. But he trains at his main course that he trains out of is Lytle Creek, and that's a private club. But right up past that, there's the open to the public Lytle Creek shooting range as well. And I think it's like $20 to get in. And once you're in there, you can use it how you need to.
That's cool.
But if you didn't want to shoot, you can just drive up a little bit further and find a parking spot, go off and shoot.
Shoot on some BLM land.
But I tell you what, like I said, I'm not a city kid at all, so I don't like coming into the city because I feel like there's nothing to do. I can't go hunting, I can't go shooting.
Right.
And if I go shooting, I don't want to. I've only been to.
It's going to be a problem.
Well, I don't go and pay to shoot. I hate doing that. So when people invite me and they say, "Oh, you're going to this shooting range, it's $20 for an hour," that's an hour is a warm up. So I want to go and actually take advantage and put some rounds downrange.
That's cool. So you're gonna have to bring target stands and targets and like when you head to the range, what kind of stuff do you bring? Do you bring a
lots of water? It's gonna be 100 degrees out there.
Well, that too. Do you bring like steel targets? Do you just have like a wood stand with some PVC pipes or little furring strips to nail everything up? Or staple everything up?
Back where I used to live in Lake Isabella, I can go down the street, and as long as no one's there, about 10 minutes from my house, there was a pull-off area where a lot of people would go shooting. And if I didn't want to bring the whole thing, I would just take a cardboard box with a piece of paper on it and draw a target and shoot at that.
That's cool.
Now, as we've kind of progressed in how we want to train, we're taking some targets out there with some stands and some silhouettes out, and then for steel, we'll take some steel out there. Of course, in California, especially right now, because it's so dry, you want to also take proper fire management. You have to be, and this is the same thing as as a hunter and as a shooter, you always have to be responsible for what you're doing.
Right.
Especially in a situation where you have to shoot at a target, you want to know what's behind it, know what's around it.
Right.
So
make sure it's a safe area.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're taking is fire extinguisher, shovels, rakes, something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're shooting in the desert, there's dry stuff out there, so you don't want to start a fire and create havoc. California is known for its wildfires.
Yeah, this is true. Wildfires and earthquakes, right?
Hell yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah. All right, so tell us more about Nexbelt. You were talking about how they started off as making belts for golfers, right?
Oh yeah. So originally, and the owners of the company are big golfers. The owners of the company wanted to start a belt company. They had some other companies that they were working with, but they had a passion with a design that they wanted to see, made it, come into fruition. And they had a design, they had a dream about it, and so they started making these belts, dress belts, and they said, well, we're golfers, why not, do something with that? So they started making these golf belts, and there's different models of them. There's some that have ball markers on the inside, some that have divot tools with like bottle openers and everything. They made the first ones that you look at it now, and we've moved on from those, but when they were first made, nobody had ever seen those. Nobody had ever seen these ratchet belts like this, and they just blew it, took the market by storm. And my brother at the years later, my brother was working at Ammo Bros, which is one of the largest gun shops in Southern California. And one of the owners, the gentleman that you met today, Tom, came in and he brought in a belt, and he said, hey, why don't you try this out? We're trying to make these gun belts, but we're golfers, and we do have a little bit of experience with gun stuff, but we want gun people to tell us what, you know, and we do that. We do this now. We love feedback. And so he brought it in. He said, hey, here's some samples. Use it and abuse it. Tell us what's wrong with it. Tell us what's right. You know, tell us how we're doing on this.
Yeah.
So my brother did just that. He used it and he abused it. And he went back and he said, oh, I love this. I hate this. I love this. Maybe fix this. Maybe work on that. This is great. You know, keep working on this. And they said, okay, got some good feedback. Well, they came back with some changes, not only ones that he said, but some of their own. And he saw them progress, and he thought, you know, this is actually a pretty good belt. They're progressing in what they're doing, and I can get behind that. Years later, he reached out and said, you know, I'm interested in working for you guys. And you know, after that, they said, you know, we're interested in having you. And so that's how he started working there.
That's cool.
And from there, we've learned off of each other. The company has progressed into something that now we're pretty much split 50-50. We sell just as many gun belts as we do golf belts and dress belts. And the designs work off of each other, and we find different ways to modify and become stronger as not only a belt company, but kind of as a community-based belt company. 2A community is supposed to be that, a community, and that's kind of like big for me is when we go out and we talk to people and they come back with smiles and they're like, dude, I love this belt. That makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
So that's and now, you know, as I said, we're selling probably just as many gun belts as we are golf belts. Still a lot of people are still unfamiliar with it or kind of skeptical. So if you guys don't have one, you reach out. You guys need a Nexbelt. They're exceptional.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had a ratchet belt, and I bought it because I wasn't happy, you know, being a chubster, being a chubby guy, having the dad bod here. Belts were never like regular belts. It was a pain in the neck. You know, you drop a couple pounds and you got to adjust it. And you got to, you know, and you were always wearing down one or two holes. And I found a ratchet belt at a store, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try this. And I thought it was really cool because it's always the perfect size, always the perfect size. And like I said, when that wore out, I'm like, all right, I wanted to find another ratchet belt, and I'm like, you know what, I just need to buck up and get a gun belt that's got a ratchet. And I remember, you know, we wanted to talk about Amanda. I remember Nexbelt was always helping out with the concealed carry fashion show. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go with one of these and check it out, and found the buckle that I liked. And like I said, I got the Don't Tread on Me one, and I love it. I think these guys are really awesome. They're really sturdy belts. Is there what keeps them sturdy? Is there a little? Yeah. So I mean, on the inside,
I think it's there's a couple things that make it sturdy. So like you said, you know, with the holes and stuff with Nexbelt, you'll never find yourself in the middle of like two holes or anything. And what that is, that ratchet system. That ratchet system is made out of a polyamide material. It's a type of nylon, very, very strong. It's sometimes taken in place of steel in like aerospace engineering and all that. But one of the things that creates in the rest of the belt, besides the ratchet, even behind that ratchet system and throughout the whole belt, there is a nylon weave liner in the back. And we're constantly trying to upgrade it, make it a little bit more flexible with still giving the rigidity to it. But that liner, coupled with how we sew everything together, it's sewn into a way that it's one whole single unit. You try and tear apart the belt, it's going to be hard for you to find seams in between the liner and also the stitching on the outside. So we have numerous layers kind of pressed together, sandwiched super tightly, that creates that very hard side to side. You know, you can't squish it in your hand. Yeah. It's not going to flop out when you do have your pistol. So there's a lot that go into how rigid that belt is.
Yeah, when I first saw somebody wearing a gun belt, and they said it had, I think he said it had like a A thin piece of steel in it, maybe? Some sort of metal.
I think it's Bigfoot. Bigfoot belts or something like that have steel, and then they also have one with Kydex in it.
Gotcha. I'm not sure which one this one was. This guy's, the belt he had was it was an older belt.
Gotcha.
It looked like it's seen its usage. It looked like it's taking a beating, but still held up well. And it stayed round.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like about our belt is that it does have some good rigidity to it, but no matter how you're moving, it still does flex with you, and in a way that it's still comfortable and not rubbing on you.
Yeah.
Me as a skinny guy, I could say that pretty much about any belt, but I hear a lot from other guys, and also some of my good friends who are a little bit bigger around the waist. They tell me all the time, dude, hey, I need another one of these. These are great. Can I buy one for my uncle? He's a big dude. What's your largest size? And I'm like, well, we got one for him. Don't even worry about that. Because they're cut to size, it fits everybody. But one of the things I wanted to touch on that is a lot of belts out there are not built, gun belts are not built for larger guys, and B, they're not built for women. In the gun industry in general, you don't see a lot of women forward equipment, and so we kind of pride ourselves on our belts being both unisex but also able to fit people who are of larger nature.
I thought this was going to get us back towards the home office, but that is not the case.
Nope, just a roundabout.
That's all right.
Yeah, California driving is a little bit different.
Oh my God, dude. It's a wonder you guys don't have any. Do you have a lot of road rage incidents?
I'm sure.
Topics,
probably not.
Holy moly.
Probably in LA or those areas.
Yeah. All right. So who cares? More products for women.
Yeah, and women in general, I mean, they find themselves, especially more nowadays, it's not that it's growing so much, but it's being more recognized that women do carry. And more women are deciding to not only carry, but train. And so you go and get this big old belt from a good reputable company, and you try and use that on a young, small woman, it's just not going to fit her as well as a belt that's designed to fit everybody and designed to ratchet, close, and fit quarter-inch increments. I mean, if you decide to buy it for somebody, you don't have to worry about sizes.
You
Very
don't.
Simple.
Yeah, they come in a big size, and you got to cut them down to size.
Yeah, and we have different size buckles. We have different styles of buckles depending on how you're going to carry. So we literally have a belt for every type of person, every type of carry as well. So it's kind of hard to describe how many people have come to me in the last year and said, oh, well, this is a great belt, but you don't have it in my size. Well, yeah, we do. We have it for everybody.
We can make it in your size, yeah.
And I saw that you had a lot of women from the DC project. That's exceptional.
I do have a lot of the ladies from the DC project.
Yeah. And on the show,
Amanda?
Yeah, Amanda, when I first met her, she was wearing the big, that teal shirt with the DC project on it and everything. And some of the other ladies that I've met that have really shown me kind of what that program is about. I love it. More women need to express their rights. They need to train just as much as the guys do. Yeah. And the guys, they need to recognize that.
I don't know if this is for public consumption, so I might have to take it out.
No problem.
I think Amanda said you guys were working on a DC project belt.
Yeah, so we're trying. I have no problem in sharing that either. We've been working. Diana Moeller. Me and her have been in contact back and forth and whatever about it. But basically, here's the thing: is we were being as it is custom, we want to make the DC project well known as well. So if we can make them walking billboards for that, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only that, but if they can wear something, especially at shows or if they're going to shooting functions and something like that, they're comfortable with, that's going to prepare them to carry efficiently and correctly, but also look nice and promote their stance, promote the group. Why not, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh, absolutely.
They're behind that as well, and they're looking into seeing what styles they're going after. Pretty soon here, I'm actually gonna send her some samples so she can check them out and see what she likes.
Nice.
But they're a great group of gals to work with, and if you guys are unfamiliar with the DC project, you guys should better get yourselves familiar, because there's a lot of wisdom. There's not a lot of knowledge that can be made aware of, and they're constantly in DC, constantly talking to the Senate,
talking to politicians,
and all that, fighting for you guys.
Absolutely. And there's we know that the women is one of the largest groups of minorities that are getting into firearms,
right.
and having a story. Having a story from the female perspective is really, it's really impactful when you have to go talk to politicians, because they like to think that most gun owners are, we like to call them stale, pale, and male. Old fat white guys.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with the DC project. So that is very cool.
Yeah. It's what I find, especially as I grow older and meet more people, is it's uneducation is that is hurting the stance of 2A community. From outsiders looking in, it's those people that have been educated incorrectly or just are lacking education on the Second Amendment and the community from certain standpoints, and that includes politicians. And so the fact that me as regular Joe Schmo can say, well, somebody ought to tell that politician, that this is our thought process, or this is why we do things.
Yeah.
And the DC project is those people that are going and saying, hey, this is what we're fighting with. This is what we're fighting for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great hanging out with all the DC project gals.
And as Nexbelt goes, we like to align ourselves with people like that, and not only with people who are educators and people who have the experience to go behind that, but people who are open. And so when we go out and talk to people and talk to people about our belts, we love hearing when people come and they say, hey man, I've been using your belts and I've actually used it, and this is why it looks like this. This is why it's torn to crap. It's not because it's a crappy belt, but it's because I beat the crap out of it.
Right.
And that's what I like to hear. I would much rather somebody come to me and show me a belt that they destroyed than somebody that just put it on the shelf and never used it.
Yeah.
Because that means that they're probably not carrying, or probably not exercising their right, or training and stuff. So.
I thought it was really cool. So I ran into you at the SHOT Show this year, and then I ran into you again at the NRA annual meetings recently. And I think there were some people that were bringing belts back and swapping them out for some new ones, maybe?
Oh yeah, so it was really bizarre. This is not the first time I've seen it, but it is I've seen it the most at that show. Is people were walking up with their normal leather belts or a belt from another company, and they hear the spiel, and they kind of are educated a little bit. They try on the belt, they buy one, wear it around, and then they'll come back and either bring us the belt, or they'll put their belt on and take the belt that they were wearing, and they'll hang it up on our hook and leave it there.
Leave it there, yeah.
And so at the end of one day, I think I threw away 3 belts that people were just like, oh, this is a great belt, I don't need this one anymore. And
thrown them away right away.
And actually, we brought one home to show Tom, because we're like, "Hey, Tom, here you go.
Really,
here's your new belt," as a joke. Yeah.
This is really happening. That's really cool. That is really cool. How often do you guys go to shows? I know you like the big ones, obviously the NRA and the annual, the SHOT Show. I assume you guys go to the USCCA show?
Yeah, we go to a lot of different shows. And obviously, not only gun shows. We're going shows to promote the custom belts, but also the golf industry, and we have a lot of sides to it. But on the gun industry, we go to at least probably 5 to 10 a year. 10 is pushing it, but this year it seems like we're going to all of them.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we were recently just invited to the Gundies
Oh,
so
that's
we
cool.
might go to that. Hopefully we do. We were invited for next year for SHOT Show. We already have pretty much the whole year planned.
That's awesome.
I think the only other shows this year for the gun industry are a few smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
But just this last month, I went to 3 alone. We went to the NRA show.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went over to a show in Oklahoma for 2 days. It was called the MDM Pro Show. Mm-hmm. Exceptional people there.
Cool.
And then from there, flew over to Georgia and went to the Blade Show, which was absolutely phenomenal.
That is really cool.
And, you know, I had never seen so many beautiful knives there.
Yeah.
Jason from... I didn't realize that I was going to know so many people there. But as it is a community, you get to like see the same faces, and
sure.
Everybody is just super friendly. And Jason from Big Daddy Unlimited was there. I think him and his son have a knife company, and they were showing their product there. Mm-hmm. I got to see Mr. Outer from Outer Limitless. Outer Limits is his YouTube channel. Like yourself, he does a lot of media and talks to people, and loves spreading good news about the 2A community. But he was there, got to see him, and some other people too. Abby Lyons, AJ Knives, she makes some pretty amazing stuff. I kind of grew up with her a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was just phenomenal to see her and her family. But go to a lot of shows.
Cool. That's good stuff. You do start to see, the more you go to these, you start to see the people more often, and particularly for knives and guns, those they go hand in hand. They really do.
It's funny watching your channel and seeing people that I'm like, hey, I know that guy, or I've met him, like Mr. Pincus and
Rob Pincus, yeah.
At the last show, I actually met Hickok 45, and he was an exceptional.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was a sweetheart. But
he's a great guy.
And I was just, when I met him, I just said hey to him real quick. I kind of almost bumped into him, and I said, oh, hey, I'm actually doing an interview with Charlie. And he's like, oh, yeah, Charlie's a great guy. Charlie's great. Yeah, you know how he is.
I'm honored. Yeah. That's really cool. I've one of the things, I know we're almost back to where we need to be, and if you could get us back there, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem.
Because at one point I'm like, I think I recognize that place.
Yeah. I was gonna say, oh yeah, turn here, but it was right.
It was too late.
When I had to make that sharp.
Right. One of the things that I love is about my gig is that I just wanted to increase my circle of friends. So it was really cool when I went to. We're gonna take a left here.
Go straight.
Okay. When I went to the NRA annual meetings, I reached out to John Hickok 45's son, and I'm like, hey, I know you're doing some stand-up, or are you doing any stand-up? Because he goes out and does stand-up, and so he's like, yeah, I'm going to be here and here and here, and come on out. So.
Oh, so he gave you his dates and times
so I went.
Stuff?
I went to a place and it was no one was there.
Oh,
it was bad.
Well, that's the hard thing about, especially stand-up, is it's hit and miss.
Oh my gosh,
I have some buddies that tell me it's a hard, it's a hard business to be a part of.
Yeah. I was doing stand-up pre-COVID. I was out doing stand-up with a friend of mine, and we'd go once or twice a month. We'd try to go once a month. Sometimes twice a month.
You'll take a break.
Okay. And it was hard. It's for me, when I first started doing it, I would go to a nightclub on a Sunday night.
Okay.
And I'd drive into Boston, and it's a hard sell to say to your friends, hey, listen, man, it's a Sunday night. It's an hour to drive to Boston.
Yeah.
You got to buy 2 drinks, and we should be back about 11:30 on a Sunday night. What do you think?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It is. But I love having the circle of friends increase. All right. Listen, we are almost back to where we need to be. How can people find Nexbelt?
Yeah, so we are a little bit everywhere. So first of all, if you want to check us out on our website, it's going to be nexbelt.com. Nexbelt.com is going to bring you to both belts, the dress belts, golf belts, and also the EDC belts. So make sure you're looking in the right categories.
Gotcha. Make sure you spell Nexbelt right.
Nexbelt.
Nexbelt.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
The second way is if you have a local gun shop, go ahead and go into the local gun shop. Check us out. See if we're in there. We are we have reps all over the United States, which means that we have belts in shops, golf courses all over the United States. It's about 50-50. When I meet people, they say, oh, I either got it online, somebody bought it for me, or I got it at this local shop.
Got it at a local shop. That's cool.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of capabilities to find us.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much for being on the show. And Nathan, I really appreciate the time.
I had a great time.
I want to set you up with, these are all the goodies I have left from my little tour here. Is I got a Gungram sticker and a decoding firearms lanyard.
From John.
Yes, from John Petrolino. He's the man. So he set me up with those.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I'll have to get you a,
I love that.
I'll have to get you a running, I know, right?
I love that.
So yeah, so I make videos playing the trumpet and shooting a gun, and somebody reached out to me and said, hey, can I make a cartoon of you? So I'm like, yeah. If I'm not a cartoon enough, then yes, make one. So I've been using that and put it on shirts and stickers and whatever. Whatever you got to do.
Right. Yeah.
Cool, man.
I want some stickers.
I'll set you up. I might have a few more Gungram stickers. Anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching the show. Thank you for being here and checking the YouTube channel out and watching the show, listening to the show if you're listening to it on podcast. You should join the Second Amendment Foundation at saf.org. If you're not a member there, it's only $150 for a lifetime membership. You can also support them at CCRBKA, this Committee for the Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms. You should check out all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts in one place at sdrn.us, which is the Self-Defense Radio Network. And of course, you can watch Riding Shotgun on Gunstreamer on YouTube, on Gunstreamer, on Full30, on the OpsLens app, and listen to it on all your favorite podcast places. And we shall see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.